Welcome to this video, new part of middle game strategy. Yeah, this is a game played by Botvinnik. Again, of course, I had a number of Botvinnik examples already in my channel, but he has played so many great instructive games, so it's really clear that I will have many games by him on the channel. Okay. The black player here is Vitaly Chekhover. This was played in the, let me check, this was the Championships of the Soviet Union in 1938, so a rather old game, but still very instructive. Let's see, they played a Nimzo-Indian, at the time, relatively new opening, and Botvinnik played knight f3. A move that's totally normal nowadays, but at the time wasn't played that often. Castles, bishop g5. Yeah, here black played the move d6, which is not bad, but a little bit passive, I think. Nowadays people probably would prefer to play an approach with c5 maybe, or even d5 to transpose to the Rogozin Queen's Gambit. It's both a little bit more active, putting a pawn in the center. Yeah, d6, as mentioned, not bad, just a little bit on the passive side. Okay, e3, queen e7, he prepares e5, bishop e2, and e5. Yeah, this is a typical strategy. Black puts his bishop outside of the pawn chain and then puts pawns on dark squares. Yeah, very healthy setup. Queen c2, rook e8, castles, yeah, all very normal moves. Black now captured on c3, and white took with the pawn. This looks surprising at first, but it has a very clear reason. After queen takes, there is the tactical move knight e4, can easily be overlooked, and yeah, this is really not something that white wants, as now there is this threat of the intermediate check on e2, and of course this is leading nowhere. Yeah, white cannot rescue his bishop, so this has to be played, and here this position promises white nothing. He has this not so attractive looking double pawn and no direct compensation for it. So you rather want to capture on c3 with the board full of pieces than with the queens traded and so on. So this was played, b takes c. Black now went h6, bishop h4, and I think the next move is actually a little bit imprecise. Black now played c5, and I don't think that he should do that. Probably better was something like knight d7, yeah? Knight d7, f8, g6, trying to break the pin. The whole thing is a little bit inconvenient for black anyway, but it's nothing serious yet. c5 is not helping. It has one serious drawback, and the drawback is that white has not yet committed to closing the center. Yeah, closing the center, by the way, here is not a particularly great idea, because you want the flexibility to take on c5 or take on e5. It's not leading to anything yet to play d5. You rather want to wait until there is some commitment from black. Botvinnik's move now is strong. He played rook a to e8. A to e1, of course. I'm sorry. He played this move. Yeah, what did black do now? He played bishop g4. Looks like a very normal, innocent move. What was the idea of rook e1, by the way? This protects the bishop. Okay. And the idea is white wants to play knight d2 and then push with f4. This is the idea. So if black is not reacting in any way, bishop g4 is a reaction to that. If he's playing, let's say knight d7, just to show the idea, then this and this is white's plan. Yeah, trying to open up the F file for the rook. Black, however, played, as mentioned, the move bishop to g4. Not this, but bishop g4. Yeah, after bishop g4, now Botvinnik starts to play for, yeah, in my view, a fantastic concept that is that beautifully shows how how free of any prejudice his positional understanding was. Maybe nowadays this is not that that special what's happening now, but it is a really great concept. Yeah, what is his move now? He very surprisingly captured on f6. Yeah, why would you give up your bishop for the knight? It's a pinned piece on f6. Why give up this pin and seemingly help black by simplifying the position? Yeah, it has a concrete reason. He took on f6. Let's look at this. It is rather forced. Black, of course, has to recapture. And now, after queen e4, we see that there is a double attack in place. The bishop is attacked and the pawn is attacked. So why is this such a big deal? Black now only has two real moves. He can take on f3. This happens in the game. Or he can retreat to c8. Yeah, he has to attend to this hanging pawn on b7. If he plays bishop c8, well, it did not happen in the game, but if he would have done that, then white's continuation is very instructive. Knight to d2. We have a pin on the rook, and our next move will be f4, opening up the rook on f1. Very strong. Yeah, that's really a strong idea. Knight c6, for example, and f4. Yeah, and the e-pawn cannot take. It's a pin by the queen. Just a great concept. So white has a great position here. It didn't happen. Black captured on f3. Bishop takes. And knight c6. Yeah, first impression is, what exactly did white achieve with this series of exchanges? Yeah, we took on f6. Yeah, we had this this trade of the bishop on f3, and it's not quite clear what all this is leading to. But now we see the beautiful point of the whole concept. Botvinnik now takes on c5, and this is basically the echo of what I said earlier. White has not yet, after c5, he does not yet make commit to a certain pawn structure. The capture here is exceptionally strong. The reason is, after the recapture, which is pretty much forced, white plays rook d1. And what is the big point now? We see that the d5 square is of course weakened. This happened when black played c5, a move that I questioned earlier. Is this a big problem? Yes. The reason is we have many pieces that control d5. We have chances to use this square, and this is a big point. White has pawns on e3 and c3 that control d4. Black's knight does not have an outpost anywhere. In fact, the knight, while technically you would think that the knight should be okay in a relatively static pawn structure, the knight does not have a good place. It really has no good outpost, no stable square. While white has a very clear-cut plan. Rook d1, as we saw, rook d8. And now white's next move is very much clear. There is a weak square on d5, and we put the rook on this square. Very nice control of this weakened square, and we also attack this pawn. A very important point is that black now cannot relieve the pressure by trading. If he trades, white takes with the pawn, And now after knight e7, he has the very strong move and a very, very important move, d6, with a tempo on the knight, so black will take and white will take here. And this is a typical transformation. In this position, those pawns are much more likely to fall and get under pressure than white's pawns. This is because this bishop is also the much stronger piece. The knight has nowhere to go. It does not have any stable posts here or here in the center. Knight f5 does not make much sense. Knight g6 is going nowhere. The knight has no good square, while the bishop helps a lot. For example, it supports to get a rook to the d file. So just a very nice position for white. And very important to take this chance to play d6 and open up the diagonal. Yeah, black did not capture. He saw that, of course. And he tried to defend with this b6. And now rook d1. Of course, this was anticipated by Botvinnik when he started the whole operation with bishop takes f6. And this is the very strong judgment that I was talking about, to see that this series of trades actually leads to a position where white is dominating. And this is despite this seemingly bad pawn structure. The point is that pawns are very nice, but pieces are just more important. Yeah, the pieces are just so strong. White has excellently placed pieces. Yeah, black now tried to play knight a5. The reason is, or the idea behind it is, that after rook d5, c takes d5, there was always a tempo on the knight and he moves it away. And this in fact has a concrete idea. We see this later. White plays h3, just passing the move over to black, playing an improvement move, an improving move, giving the king a little bit of space. Yeah, now black captured on d5. This was the idea. Now we come to a very important moment, and a moment where many players now would make a mistake. White here really, absolutely must play the next move. Botvinnik's move now is rook takes d5. You absolutely cannot take with the pawn. It looks like the normal move maybe at first, because okay, my pawn structure, I'm improving my pawn structure, great, but black will get the knight to d6 for a blockade. This is the difference to before. Here we are not really in time to play this to capture a pawn on b7 or something. This is not happening. Here black will get the knight to d6, and all of a sudden our bishop is looking like a really bad piece. Yeah, it looks stupid staring at the d5 pawn. We should not play pawn takes, but rook takes. Much stronger, keeping the pawn structure seemingly bad, but keeping the pieces as active as possible. Queen e7. Black tries to cover the invasion square, and bishop g4. Yeah, rook d7. It's just like that. The pieces are so active. Queen to b7. Yeah, there's really not much advice to be given to black. Something like rook d8 is blundering e5. Yeah, it's not helping. So queen b7, bishop f5. Just very clearly taking away a square and starting with mate threats. Queen takes e5 now is a direct threat. Black of course cannot play g6, as this is complete devastation. Yeah, what he played actually? Played queen to b8. Yeah, queen a8 is a little bit tougher, but black is under severe pressure anyway. Queen b8 and rook d7. Yeah, white has super active pieces. Black played rook d8. Yeah, this was actually overlooking a little tactical possibility. Or allowing, overlooking is the wrong word. The thing is, what white is doing is he's threatening queen d5, and if you get this in, it will be terrible. This is just not a good piece. Yeah, okay, he played after rook d7, he played this rook d8 move, after which now white has a little tactical trick. White captured. Yeah, based on this back rank mate, this queen sacrifice, not a real sacrifice. Black took here, and after queen takes b8, rook takes b8, we should watch this position again. Let's take stock. It's equal material, but what should white do? What is the best move now for white? Yeah, it's clear, right? We will take the pawn. No, it's not clear. In fact, you can take the pawn, and it's not awful, but if we consider rook takes a7 and black might just go back, where's your bishop going? You're going to not such a great square now. Lay 2d3 maybe. It's not doing that much there. White has a stronger move. Instead of taking there, Botvinnik played much stronger. He played the move bishop to e4, intending to go to d5. This is such a great square for the bishop. It's much more important to get there instead of grabbing a pawn. Black played knight a3. Yeah, he cannot really do that much. Bishop to d5. Rook f8. e4. The bishop is cemented on d5 now. And have a look at the knight. What is black supposed to do with this piece? Yeah, it really has no square or useful role. Well, white has a very clear-cut plan. What we are doing now is based on the activity. This is just fantastic. We will keep this pressure on, and we will push pawns on the king side. Why there? Here is our majority. Our pawn majority ultimately leading to a passed pawn or to an attack. And we see this coming really quickly, actually. Black tried to use his pawns. a6, c4, b5, capture. Yeah, black now recaptured with the knight. Yeah, pawn takes. It's not really a huge difference. It's still the same thing. He took with the knight, and now white pushed on e5, a4, and f4. Knight d4, king f2. Of course, not overlooking a fork. Should use our king. Black is tied to the f7 pawn. He really has no defense to that. g5, g3, and the trade. Yeah, still there's not much that he can do. Knight to e6. Very important here is, of course, that you really never want to trade on e6. Yeah, even if it leads to a totally dominating endgame. Let's say here, yeah, black tried the c4, which looks really, yeah, it looks like desperation. But you would never ever want to, let's say, take here and play this to win a pawn. While this might win, it is simply not the right way to play this in a technical sense. We don't want to exchange this dominating bishop against this sorry knight. It is the much cleaner way is to push the pawns home while keeping the minor pieces on the board. We see that this is just much quicker, basically deciding the game with an attack. Rook e8. And after this, and bishop c6, white, yeah, actually, yeah, black resigned. Yeah, white won. White won here. I was looking at the score sheet. I was looking at it the wrong line. Yeah, here white won the game. Black resigned. Yeah, what to take from this game? Let's look at some key moments. Black had weakened with c5 and e5. He had weakened the d5 square, and white made use of this square beautifully here, even with simplified material. He made sure that he always kept active pieces. After the capture, he did not take with the pawn, after which, not there, not to d5, let's delete this, after which the black knight would get to a good blockading post. Instead, he took with the rook, which is much, much stronger, keeping the d-file pressure. With moves like that, he had the game under control. The activity of the pieces and the d-file here was much, much more important than improving the pawn structure. Black had a knight that never really got to a good square. Note that White's superiority here was due to the d-file and the piece activity of rook and queen. If we, in this position, magically remove the heavy pieces, yeah, like we do something like that, then the whole thing is a bit different. The knight here, if it would come to d6, let's put it there, just to complete the argument. Here, it's only black playing for an edge, of course, because there are no dynamics in the position. The d-file, the 7th rank, all this is taken away, and totally different matter with all the pieces on the board. If we go back to this, the difference is the activity of those, yeah, d5, f7, this kind of active position. Note that the double pawn never ever was an issue in this game, because there was no pressure that black could apply to it. So a very nice game showing how those dynamic factors, better rook, better queen, more activity, outweigh this seemingly structural deficit of the double pawn. Also note that it's very important that d5 is a big weakness, while there is no weakness in the center for white. d5 and also e4 are places and squares for white's pieces that are very, very active, while black has no pieces and outposts that he can place in the center. Yeah, the knight is offside on a5. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this game. It's one of those classic Botvinnik games where he showed great strategic understanding, and he was far above his peers in those times. This is 1938, but this even applies to the 50s and 60s in very, very very frequently in games you see that. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.